Welcome back to Reachin Reverie, everybody, and thank you so much for choosing this video to watch today. On today's video, we are planning on putting in our soffits, or the vented closures at the bottom of these overhangs. In addition to getting the soffits put in, we are going to be going to the hardware store to pick up our doors and windows that have arrived. So we're so excited. It's going to start looking more and more like a house. What I'm doing before we get those soffits put up on the shop is I'm actually running screen material over our soffits. So you can see these are vents that are going to allow that attic space to ventilate. And I'm putting screen on the soffits on the undersides. That way things like wasps and bees and bugs have a harder time trying to go and make their home up in the roof of our shop. So I'm going to work on this. I have one down, 3 more to go, and then we'll be ready to start putting the soffits up. We did go and buy basic fiberglass window screen material is what we're using. I'm just cutting it with my simple pocket knife. You can see the edges are kind of ragged there, but you know, we're not looking for perfection, we're just looking for coverage. And then I am using a spray adhesive to quickly spray the soffit, lay that netting material screen down, and we are gonna be good to go. So with the weather, you can't even see the mountains today. We opted for staples instead of glue because the glue wasn't drying in this weather. Yeah, you could see you're just now able to start seeing that mountain over there, but we are high humidity and another day of 80% chance of rain today. You can't see any of the mountains out that way. Now that glue did say on the bottle that it dries between something like 30 seconds on the fast end up to 15 minutes on the slow end. But that being said, I actually do prefer the staples. It's less chemicals and more natural, I guess, here. And so this is what it looks like. We're just hammering in with the slap stapler. So it was a lot faster. With the glue, we did spray that first one, let it set, and it was still tacky and not really holding after longer than 15 minutes. So we thought maybe with the weather, it wasn't the best idea for this round. So the staples are working great. We're able to get them literally slapped on, and that's going to keep things like wasps, bees, ants, other creepy crawlies from coming in and making a home in our attic. And this is the side that's inside the house, and the outside is going to look like that. All right, the soffit and the outside fascia are on our first side. This is the tall end. Right now he's taking a measurement, and they're gonna start going on that side, back, and then up and around. That looks so good. And since I am afraid of heights, Josh enlisted his friend John to come, and they're working on that today, getting the soffits and that top fascia installed, as the fascia boards and the soffit boards, they are pretty flimsy. And so while they're holding up either end and nailing, I'm getting a stick from the ground and pushing up to keep the middle from sagging while they nail everything in. And it's been going really smoothly, and it is just the perfect day. Today the high is 75, and of course we have this 80% chance of rain, and we just have this dewiness and fog in the air, and it's just kind of like a gentle, very subtle mist going on right now. So it's almost jacket weather here for this Western Texas gal. I'm getting little goosebumps standing out here. Just means we're not working hard enough, I guess. We need to work harder so it's not cold. And looking this way, you can't see the mountains. Is this what it feels like to live in an area that's flat? I mean, the mountains bring me so much joy, and it's kind of eerie and still when you can't see them in the distance. All right, everybody, we are almost done putting on our vented soffits and the smart fascia. I didn't record a large portion of this morning out of respect for John. I didn't want to have him here on the camera. But we did get it. So Josh was on one side, John was on the other, and I had a long 8-foot stick where I was on the ground pushing up to prevent it from sagging there in the middle. And we got almost all of the sides done. You can see the vented soffits on the bottom, and the fascia, which is the same material, kind of caps it in on the top. And we did all of the sides except for right here. We have the bottom piece in, but we are just short on material for this side fascia right here. So we are gonna have to go back to the hardware store to get one piece of smart board so that we can get that put in. But we were gonna go to the hardware store anyway to pick up our doors and windows, so we'll get it all in one swoop. This was a great time for a lunch break as well, so we're gonna go take off for a little bit and come back to finish it up. We have one piece here that we're needing and one piece here. On all of our angled roofing areas, we put a solid soffit here, and then on all of the flat areas we did vented. So you can see the front we had vented, the sides are solid, and then the back we have vented as well. Once we get all of this done, getting those last two boards put on, I'm gonna go home and put my big girl panties on, and when we come back, I'm gonna get up on the ladder and help Josh with those last two pieces. I mean, we're so thankful for John. He came out and helped and really took a weight off of us. Having 3 people here instead of 2 was just amazing for our productivity this morning. So when I come back, Josh and I are gonna knock out the last 2 pieces. And then once we get that done, Josh is gonna be going ahead and getting back up on the roof and adding our drip edge all the way around the structure. That way it can prevent leaks in the future. Once we get that drip edge on, the next step will be coming back with plywood and closing up the last sections up here, which we will butt right up to those soffits on the ceiling. So it looks like we're gonna go one lap around the building with plywood cuts to really seal this structure in. And I just love that natural light in the ceiling. I was joking with Josh, I know we're not gonna do this, but it was suggested we go in here. I mean, granted, there will be more light when we cut this window out right here, so that will bring more natural light in, but look at that. Look at all that natural light right there. So I was joking with Josh. I was like, maybe we should just window this whole top edge and like let the natural light in. But no, that's not what we're gonna do. We are keeping this a shop. It's not a luxury housing situation or anything by any means. And we are gonna be putting a ceiling plywood at the bottom of all of these rafters, so we wouldn't see the windows anyway. But for a moment I could dream, right? I was thinking, man, imagine if we had all this natural light coming in here. But that's the way I am. I love me some natural light, but we have to also keep in mind, this is gonna be temporary housing for Josh and I. First and foremost, this is gonna be his shop. And so he doesn't need all that natural light for a shop. We are planning on living in our RV and this shop while we build our house. And so once the house is built, we'll move all of our living situation from here over to our house, and that's gonna be where the real work begins. And that's gonna be our house one day where we'll be living, where we can do all the pretty things like beautiful high windows. We had talked about that briefly, about putting something like this in the house where we have windows that can vent out the heat. So you guys will just have to stay tuned and see what we decide when we actually build our house. We were playing around with options here in the shop of living space. We were thinking we may do TV on this wall, couch over here, but I was also thinking, because that would be a very similar setup to the way I have my current apartment. My apartment is actually 24 feet long, so it's as long as this over, and then it's about 4 feet more narrow than this. It's a 12 by 24 is my living room and kitchen in my current apartment. So with this space, we could either mirror what we have there at my apartment, and it'd be very simple to just move everything over and pretty seamless transition. And we'll see, maybe playing it around. We will have an air conditioner right here. Potentially, you know, we have a couple deep Reachin freezers we could put in, and I might be doing like a TV on this wall, coffee table, dog bed, and then couch coming out. And then that would open up some more floor space and we could utilize both doors. And then we're planning on kind of using this side of the shop as my storage, as we don't want to rent like a storage unit that we don't have to and have another expense. So we're thinking that until we build the house, we may have like totes of some materials that would be furnishing the house in the future, with also having our spare bed in here. So those are some thoughts that we're playing around with. Give a guest somewhere to sleep if they come and visit. And then of course, the bathroom down the road will be furnished as well. And Josh and I are gonna go take a lunch break, and we will see you guys back in a minute this afternoon for the rest of our work for today. We are back from our lunch break, ready for today, part 2. We're gonna start with getting these last 2 pieces on. We did get our windows and our doors, which are here. So we've got our 3 windows, and then we have our 2 doors. We did forget doorknobs, we realized as we were driving away, but we'll get to that part later, I guess, huh? Now we're sitting in this little tree. Honestly, Phil, this is about as comfortable as I feel high being.
That's all you need.
That's all I need, right? Yeah.
Hold from the bottom. How do you like your accounts?
I feel like I've got another 16th or 8th of an inch to come out. Are you flush?
Yeah.
Okay, it's good. It goes the length of the deal, but it's not flush with the next. We could caulk it.
You can try letting go and see what happens.
It's good. It's good. weeks out, just an inch, not even an inch, just a little bit. That's what we can fix with some concrete. I'm not friends with ladders. We did it. We did good. See, that was easy. What were we worrying about?
Yeah. Such a girl.
I'm such a girl. No, we got it. We got it. Good job. Wow, all the soffits and fascias are done. How awesome. It's looking more like an actual building.
Yeah, still got a ways to go, but
And the day has cleared up quite a bit. We could see the mountains again. Something about mountains just make the day better. What a nice day it has turned into. Perfect weather. So while Josh is working on that on the inside, I'm going to be doing something I never thought that I would do as a very organic, natural person. Coming onto this property, I wanted to start out right without having to introduce anything that could be potentially really negative to the environment. Well, let me show you guys around here. Every untreated board that has been on the ground for more than about a day is covered in termites. So just days. Like, you set a board down, you come back, there will be termites. Under this wood pile that I picked up yesterday, there is a huge termite colony right here. Over here where we had our soffit, the smart strand, there was a termite colony also. Termites literally everywhere. We had this pile of wood right here, and there were termites all over the underneath of it. So we do think that this beautiful wooden structure, if left unprotected, may be a termite's paradise. So we found a product that was actually recommended to us by one of our contractor friends, and he told us about this product. It is a naturally occurring mineral called borate salt, and it's not great for like fish or aquatic life, but you know, we live in a desert where there's not a whole lot of fish, and we're gonna try to do as targeted spraying as we can to avoid, you know, hurting the environment as much as possible. But this borate salt, essentially, it's a fungicide, so it will help prevent the wood from rotting, molding, and it also is an insecticide for wood boring insects. So things like termites, whenever they eat the wood that's been sprayed with this borate salt mineral, it essentially will shut down their digestive system and they'll die. So something we're gonna go ahead and bite the bullet and use this treatment on our structure. Yeah, I'm not too thrilled about it, but I also know, like, we've dumped a lot of investment into this property and house for us to have it be fed to the abundance of termites that live here. It is ridiculous. I'm telling you guys, we set a board down, come back the next day, flip it over, and there's thousands of termites on it. And it has been that way with every single piece of wood that we've set down on the property since we've moved in. We've noticed there are termites everywhere here on this property. So it's just, you know, a matter of time before they crawl up into the house and start doing some damage. I'm gonna get to work doing the necessary, inevitable, not desirable work of protecting our shop from fungus and insects. So I'm going to be putting the borate salt into a sprayer. It is water soluble, and we'll fill this up with water and you'll pump it and it will be pressurized, and then we'll just do some very targeted spraying and get it all taken care of. So this is a borate solution that we're making. It's not the same as borax, but it's very like similar, same kind of like mineral. So like people use borax in their laundry soap. We went with this professional grade stuff that's meant for insecticide and fungicide, but it is still something that is relatively as clean as we can be while still being like a fungicide and an insecticide that's going to be effective. It does recommend adding 15% as a one-time use, or you can do two at 10% use to 2 coats. We're gonna, I think, do the 1 coat at the 15%. So for my 2-gallon sprayer, I need to put 3 pounds of this stuff into here with some water and shake it up to make a solution. I just spent the last 20 minutes looking for a scale so I could measure out 3 pounds to put in this thing. And I just opened it up and there's a scoop that has the pounds, like the right amount to measure. Like, oh my gosh, why didn't I look into that before? I just spent forever looking for a scale. That's all right. That's all right. We're gonna get going here. Now this borate salt that we are spraying on the building, what it's doing is the water is helping the borate to penetrate into the surface of the wood, and when the water evaporates, it will leave behind these borate salts ingrained in that wood. And whenever you have a wood boring insect such as a termite that chews on that wood and it ingests that borate salt, it will shut down its digestive system and essentially the insect will die. And you know, some people even use borax, which is a very similar product that people use in like laundry when they do their laundry. They'll actually put borax mixed with like a salt water solution. You can soak them up into cotton balls and leave those next to ant mounds, and that is a way that some people will kill ants, is the ants will drink that sugary borax solution and then it will end up shutting down their digestive system and they die. So a very similar concept with the borax and the borate salt, but what we're doing is we are applying it onto the wall where it will fuse with the cell structure of the wood, and it should last for years as a fungicide and a termite deterrent. So what I'm doing is I'm spraying very close to the wood so that we don't have so that we can minimize as much as possible any type of overspray. And we are just going to go up as high as we can reach on the outside, and then we'll also go on the inside at this stage where we have the studs exposed, and then from there, of course, we're still going to insulate and have another layer of plywood or OSB between us and those studs. And even though this is an insecticide and a fungicide, and we do try to stay as natural as possible here on our homestead, I do feel confident and safe using this product. Of course, you got to read your labels and do your own research, but for our family, I felt like this was a good option to try to minimize any kind of damage from termites, because they are abundant here. I mean, every single pile that we have wood set down on the property, you lift it up and there are termites underneath. Now, one thing that we did have to take into consideration is we did wait until it turned into a beautiful day where the risk of rain has diminished to about nothing before we started spraying, because we're wanting to avoid runoff. We don't want it to rain on this and then wash all of this stuff down into the dirt. We want to give this time to soak in and dry so that it can be here as a permanent infusion into the wood. We want that borate salt to bond with the wood and have time to dry so that we don't have any runoff. After we get this all sprayed and after Josh has finished plywooding the top pieces, we will be wrapping this structure with house wrap, which is like a protective weatherproofing sheet that will go around the whole thing. And then on top of the plywood, we'll also have I think it's 1.5 or maybe 2 inch, I think it's 1.5, that white foam that we showed in one of the prior videos. And then over that, we will be stuccoing this shop. So This plywood will end up being several layers down, safely tucked away, so it's not something that we're going to come back and treat again once we do this, because it will be covered up with, you know, house wrap, with foam, and with stucco. So this is something that we are getting done proactively in this step of the build before it gets covered, before our wood is no longer exposed. And then on the inside, I am only planning on doing the spray with the borate salt solution just on the section up to where the studs are. And then we're gonna come in and do our, you know, our electric wiring, our insulation, throw a layer of OSB on, paint it, and call it a day. And Josh has finished with the blocking. So now he is moving on to putting up plywood. I think he's getting himself set up to where he can just set the plywood on that brace and it'll make it easier for him to work with. I'm going to do an intermission with the spraying to help with the plywood, and we'll see how far we get today. So I'm holding that plywood in place with this 1x2 while he nails it so it doesn't blow off with the wind. Pretty good idea you got there. That way I don't have to climb up the tall ladders.
if this trash piece gets that.
That would be really cool. That would be really cool. So right now we're working on the cut for one of the sides where we're going to put a triangular piece of plywood in, and we're going to use this string line that's chalk line.
Ready?
Yeah. To measure the cut, or to mark the cut. Pretty cool. He pinches the line, and when he releases it and it hits the plywood, it leaves a line of chalk for where he can cut it. Yeah, this almost looks like it could be perfect for this side over here.
It's light. I'm gonna send you to the gym.
I just showed you my new muscles I'm getting on my arm, and then you tell me to go to the gym. Hi. Yeah, that looks like it might. That looks like that piece might work up there. We'll see. We'll see. This was for the other side, though.
How cool would that be? But you know, it's got to be the same. There's no way that is.
Just gonna go find out.
27. It's a 3-inch gap. But you know, we could piecemeal that in there.
I mean, we're cutting it close. We're gonna have to piecemeal something. It might as well be that. We're gonna throw foam and stucco over it too.
We've also got this triangle too.
Aye, he is correct.
I'd almost rather do a full sheet of plywood here if I can.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think so. One side's flat and one side's angled, so it probably, I don't know if it does. I think it will matter.
Yeah, it will matter.
Yeah.
It will matter.
So it's gonna go right up there. Alright, well this is where our video is going to end for today. We did put in another good probably 12 hours today, and I feel like we've accomplished a lot. So all of the soffits and the final fascias have gotten put on our 1-foot overhangs completely around the whole building. And then today we also did put in the plywood at the top, and we went from this side around our corner and completed this side today. So tomorrow we'll finish the other 2 sides, and then we'll go from there. And we are almost done with that. We thought about continuing for the rest of the day, but if we do so, you know, there's never a good stopping point. We can always find more things to do. So we decided, you know, at this point, after a good solid solid work day. We're gonna go ahead and call it and pick it up again tomorrow. If you like this video, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. That way you can stay up to date with every step of the way as we build our shop one video at a time.